Hello, cool cats, and welcome back to our video marketing series. On the previous episode, we focused on what was the equipment that you'll need in order to kick off this adventure. And today we're going to focus on the studio. What are the things that you need, how to set up some stuff, things to avoid, and much more. So with all that being said, welcome back. That's a good one. Hello everyone, and nice to have you back. Hopefully after the first episode you figure out how much you need to spend or maybe not to spend on equipment. What are the things that you need to start this video marketing adventure of ours, right? So today we're going to focus on this studio idea, how to choose the right place. Usually you will have two options. You either go for a very dark place or very light place. You will find a place with a lot of natural light, full of windows everywhere, so you can save on lights, or you can find a dark place, dark walls, painted black and whatever, which gives you more freedom to play with extra lights that you can add. Now, there's pros and cons for both, right? Usually the light place, you will have to be aware of when you have a lot of sun outside. If there's a lot of sun outside, you will have to do something because the shadows are going to be very, very strong. Make sure you have these light curtains, you know which ones I'm talking about, so you can diffuse some of those lights coming in and have your subjects well lit. On the dark side is a bit different. You will need lights because you have maybe no sources of windows or natural light coming in, but it gives you the freedom of playing around more. You can add neon lights like the ones I have, or you can add different colors that are going to be more noticeable than in a light white place. Now, after you find the right place, either in your office or your basement or whatever, now you need to dress it up. We need to make sure that you have some sort of a scenography behind, some details that they can talk and say more about your brand. In my case, I have a little bit of branding in this side here. You can see Napoleon Cat. I have my on air sign, which it usually says like, well, I'm a pro, right? That's why I chose this microphone as well, because it looks like it's a very professional studio. I have my little action figures that they say, well, I'm playful. I have a relatable tone of voice with a nerdy, geeky audience. And I have the details of like, well, this is my place. This is my studio / office. But if you look also, you can see it's literally dressed up for that. It's not that I use it like this all the time. It's a studio. It's not just my office. I have to add elements to tell a story, elements that the people can relate with what I'm saying to a brand, like in this case, my friends at Napoleon Cat. Now, when you have all of these elements, you're ready to shoot. You're ready to start this journey. But before we move into one of the important things, I also wanted to talk to you about green screen. Green screen is a great solution, but I'm not going to tell you more about it. I'm going to let Marcus tell you about it. So Marcus, take it away. Thank you, Marcus. So we're back in our green screen studio. Having a setup like this is very useful as it allows you to create different kinds of videos. You can add different backgrounds taking you to different places like the beach, space, or a fun office background. You can also make your subject with animations, making explainer videos much more engaging, and even do some fun effects like, oh hi. So if you're a movie fan, you know that green and blue screen have been used for years to create amazing effects. The reasons why green and blue are the choice is because those colors are the further from most people's skin tones, so it's easy to remove later in post-production. And don't worry, most software right now includes automatic ways to quickly remove and replace the green screen with whatever you want. When having a setup like this, you need to make sure that your green is evenly lit. So in this case, I have these two lights right here, making sure that my green looks good. I also have an alternative light source right there for my face, that it won't make any shadows. That's what I'm bouncing it from the ceiling. It is very important to avoid shadows in your screen because it's a lot harder later to remove when you have different tones of greens. So if you see folds like this ones that I have right here, make sure you stretch it, use clips, tapes, whatever you can use, just to make sure everything's nice and stretched. Right now, you can buy ready-to-go green screen sets online for less than $200. And believe me, it is a great investment, as the only limit is your own imagination. Back to you, Marcus. Now going back to what I really wanted to talk to you. In the previous episode, we mentioned how important audio is, how a video can be completely ruined if you don't have the right audio. And one of the biggest problems when you choose a place is the audio, because you can have a lot of reverb, a lot of echo. Right now, I'm actually in the basement of my house. This is what I turned into a studio. So how am I solving these audio problems? Well, there are a couple of different ways. Right now, I'm using a unidirectional microphone that is going to talk, it's really, really pointed at my mouth. So I'm not getting any of the echo around the room, and believe me, there's a lot of it. I also do a little bit of post-production work, so I can get rid of that. Now, the most common way to get rid of the echo and all of the unwanted noises is to find some acoustic foam, which is this little baby right here. So you can see this will literally create a little barrier. There we go. It will create a little barrier to absorb the sound. That's why it has the little rings, these little holes in between, so the sound will bounce in and completely disappear. You can put this all over your place, all over the walls, all over the roof, and that will help a lot. However, it requires an investment, and having a place properly soundproof could be very expensive. Now, if you want to find a cheaper or a more affordable way to do this, just go ahead and put curtains and put rugs. When you have curtains, rugs, carpets all over the place, the sound will be a lot better because a lot of it will be absorbed by the curtains, by the rugs. So if you look, for example, in my studio here, I do have carpets all over the floor. I do have some of this acoustic foam around, but right now I'm relying on my microphone because my setup is just for that. So now that you have sort of this idea of what are the main elements, let's recap a little bit. I know we went a little bit too fast through all of these things, but just remember, after finding the right place that you can play with light and you can illuminate it in a way that is easy for you and affordable, then make sure you worry about the noise, worry about the audio. Put those curtains, don't spend too much money, just make sure that you have the right microphones and you're ready to go. And if you want to experiment, try with the green screen. Green screen gives you all of these opportunities to do different things that you maybe didn't even think about it. Try the different explainer videos, try different backgrounds that might make the whole thing more playful. All depends also with your brand. Always bear in mind that your brand will dictate what kind of style you want to use in your videos. But also feel free to go nuts and experiment. That's the whole magic of this thing. So now that you have a basic idea of how your studio will work, you have your equipment ready, make sure you join us on the next episode when we get a little bit more advanced into developing the right videos for your brand. My name is Marcus, and I will see you next time, guys. Cheers.